ESPN presentation of Championship Week is brought to you by Volvo, the car that's famous for its safety, durability, and longevity. And by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light.
Barry Tompkins and Mario Palladini, we are back at the Long Beach Arena, just about set to go with the #1 ranked running Rebels of Las Vegas and the 49ers of Long Beach State. Sellout crowd here. Let's take a look at the lineups in this one. First of all, for the Long Beach State 49ers, even though it's their home floor, they're the visiting team here. Kevin Cutler, key player for them. Sometimes he's there, sometimes he's not. Joseph Edwards-Harris and Sears, the point guard, who also has been rather in and out. They're going to have everybody on if they're to have any chance whatsoever tonight against UNLV. And their coach, Seth Greenberg, one of the more likable people and an excellent coach. He has not had the best of it so far this year. For the running Rebels of Las Vegas, I don't really know what more there is to say. Mario, we're going to have to talk about this team probably for the next 3 days, barring the totally unforeseen. Greg Anthony, of course, he is really the guy who makes this team go, and many people feel he is the one guy that the Rebels cannot afford to lose, with Hunt, Ackles, Johnson, Augman, and about 8 other guys who can play. And they, of course, are coached by Jerry Tarkanian, and Tarkanian's record is truly unbelievable. In the Big West Conference, 188-17. It's not too bad. Mario, let's talk about the game notes in this one.
Okay, well, in the game notes for Long Beach State, they have, of course, suffered 2 tough losses early, with an average of 49 points, but they're second in the conference with 40 rebounds. They go to the offensive boards well, but they're going to have to get to the glass tonight to be able to make some kind of an impact. And for UNLV, they're the first undefeated team from '79. Remember back then, Indiana State, Larry Bird, and also Alcorn State back that year.
And the interesting thing about Alcorn State is they didn't get to the tournament.
Exactly. And then they wind up getting knocked off in the NIT because they couldn't get into the tournament.
Indiana beat them in the NIT.
The average there, 29.5. You know, it could have been an even higher average if Tark hadn't pulled back a lot of times. A lot of these games could have been a big, big blowout.
Let's take a look at the series records, and of course, they really don't mean a whole lot because recent form has been all Las Vegas. They've won the last 7 and 25 out of the 32 times these two teams have played. And of course, Jerry Tarkanian in Long Beach has done nothing more than win 82 in a row.
He owns Long Beach, let me tell you.
So we're set to go. Long Beach State did beat Tarkanian one time in Southern California, but it wasn't in Long Beach. It was in Orange County. Anybody who beats Las Vegas is going to have to play a perfect game. Give you a good idea of how perfect. Fresno State played what Gary Colson felt up until tonight. Of course, they beat New Mexico State tonight. But Gary Colson felt Fresno played perhaps their best game against the running Rebels and lost by, what, 30?
And they made a running effort at him in the second half. Came out and hit a bunch of shots. Actually forced UNLV to take a timeout early in the half. As you can see, Long Beach is being real patient, looking for the back cut.
And Sears got it, just missed the shot. One shot only, and that is the story of Las Vegas.
Long Beach will start out in an aggressive man-to-man tonight. They're hoping to be straight up with aggressive, not a lot of fancy stuff like they often mix with some combinations.
Ackles on the floor, gets the ball.
I'll tell you, Ackles has really picked up his game this season.
A lot of people feel really that he is the big difference in this team, that he's a less selfish player than David Butler, who played the position last year.
That's a good point, and Butler really gave this team a good effort in his ability to be able to run the floor so well, but Ackles, I think, has improved ever since Elmore Spencer arrived. Look at this. This is so unlike Long Beach to see them pull the ball out, really try to work the clock. Seth Greenberg said, hey, we want to hold the ball for 30 seconds if we can. We want to walk it up the floor. We're going to look to be able to screen, back cut if we can.
Well, they've had more time to work on that back cut. This was what they tried to do last time, too. Cutler with the follow, but they only had a couple of days to work on it last time.
Las Vegas just shows you so many different options. They basically work up a lot of screens down low, and this man is looking for the shot tonight.
First 4 for Las Vegas.
Look at it, they're walking the ball up the floor. Bobby Sears wants, they said, take 8 seconds to walk that ball up the floor.
And what Seth Greenberg had said that they were going to do last time, they are doing this time, and that is bringing the entire offense out past the free throw line.
Yeah, that's what they really wanted to do. They're bringing high post people up high. It's Edwards up top. Also, though, so far, Barry, in this game, Las Vegas hasn't really put any pressure on in the backboard, so they've allowed Long Beach to bring the ball up the floor. And
a foul call on Anthony reaching in on Sears, and Anthony kind of barks a little bit at Tom Harrington as he's working the officials a little bit. He wants them to let them play. Let's go to Chris Fowler in the studio right now. Chris?
Thank you, fellas. We're going to go out to Kemper Arena, Kansas City. Oklahoma, Nebraska. The closing seconds of overtime. Nebraska has a 3-point lead. Oklahoma has the ball. Dave Armstrong and Dave Logan.
Arena in Kansas City. We're in the final game of the first day of the Phillips 66 Big 8 tournament. Danny Meade trying to outline a play to keep his Cornhuskers in the lead. And right now, what's he designing? Perimeter defense, right?
If you can read his lips, he said, do not foul. Don't foul. And you want to make sure you play the perimeter shooters. You don't get hurt if the basketball goes inside.
With Dave Logan and Jack Hartman, I'm Dave Armstrong. Billy Tubbs, on the other hand, is trying to get somebody to hit a three here to send it into another overtime.
Well, he's got two guys that are excellent perimeter shooters. Mark Price, 37% from three-point land, and Evans about 36%. Harris has three-point capabilities, and so does Kiki Hicks. So 4 guys in the game that can hit him from outside.
Hayes is fouled. Can you believe it?
Nebraska Gamble did not put a man on the ball out of bounds. And thus they had a free man to roam the middle of the court. Holmes almost fell inbounds and then just couldn't make the pass. You'll see Kermit Holmes, he's got nobody in front of him, almost falling in bounds. The only Sooner that broke to the basketball was Hicks. Scales saw it and got into the passing lane.
And then chewed up 7 seconds of the clock. This one's over. Nebraska is going to survive a huge scare in the first round. They'll go on to meet the Kansas Jayhawks. For Oklahoma, it's just a matter of now putting their hopes in the fate of the NCAA selection committee. 2/10 of a second left.
Now it's going to be 9/10 because the ball did not hit the rim. So they'll put 7/10 of a second back in the clock, I would imagine.
It's academic at this point. They are going to put 9/10 of a second back on. Nebraska leads by 4.
That's 9 minutes. We don't want that.
Well, Oklahoma does.
I wonder how I can get 9 minutes off. That's a great look there.
Yeah. That's where you need that computer science major running that clock. And now there's 10 minutes. They need 9/10 of a second.
Oh, Lord.
117-113 Nebraska. They trailed by 13 in the game. In overtime, Keith Moody sends the game in overtime with 5 seconds to go, and the Huskers are dancing. Now they're going to dance on into the semifinals, where tomorrow at 3 o'clock they're going to meet the Kansas Jayhawks. A rematch of last Sunday's game, where Nebraska defeated KU. In a bitter loss for the Sooners in the first round of this Big 8 tournament. Clock is winding down. We'll have to wait a minute. Or actually 48 seconds. Well, that's going to be a tough chore to try to get it to stop right at 9/10 of a second.
I tell you, I feel like I'm at Times Square on New Year's Eve. 37, 36.
It's going to be tough. It's like playing Nintendo. How quick are your fingers? And the whole world is watching. Well, at least the Midwest. And those on the Prime and Raycom audience. 9/10 of a second, and then Nebraska will dance off to the next round.
I'll tell you, I'm betting they can't do it.
And I say they can. Oh, they're inching closer.
Oh, they cheated.
1 second. Can we live with that? Nebraska says, yeah, we can live with a second. That's okay. Put an extra 10th up there. It does not matter. Another steal.
So many times it's Billy Tubbs' team dancing at the end of the game. Not tonight. Oklahoma's string of 7 straight trips to the Big 8 semifinals is over. Their NCAA tournament streak might be over at 8. The semifinals now. Missouri taking on Oklahoma State. One semifinal game tomorrow. Kansas gets Nebraska in the other. Exciting finish. More at halftime.
The Highway Loss Data Institute determined that Volvo 240 wagons have the lowest severe injury claim rate. The Insurance Institute for Highway Safety determined that 700 series sedans have the lowest fatality rate. Those are some of the facts behind Volvo's reputation for safety. Facts Volvo owners can live with.
There was much talk at the rescue scene that our Volvo saved our lives.
Test drive a Volvo at your nearby Volvo dealer.
Wild thing. It is a wild thing. Oh, come shout and sing, join in the ring. It could be queen or it could be king. You go your way and I'll go mine. As long as you just make it fine.
Good times roll with the clean, fresh taste of Bud Light. It won't fill you up, never let you down.
Wild thing. Wild thing.
Certainly isn't the same old place.
No kidding.
I'm thinking of early retirement.
I'm not thinking about it. I'm doing it. 2 more years.
You could swing?
Yeah, my Payne Weber guy helped me out with it. Remember the stock money we got after the 84 buyout? He took it and restructured my entire portfolio.
But how did he know you wanted out back then?
He asked.
Barry Tompkins and Mario Palladini back in Long Beach here. The score remains 6-2, which is just about what it was when you left. And the reason for that is Long Beach State spreading the court, using about 40 seconds on the shot clock every time down, and really playing very well, giving Las Vegas only 1 shot on their end of the court. The only difference in the game is the fact that Las Vegas is making its shots and Long Beach isn't.
And they failed to convert Long Beach, that is inside, where they really have to be able to convert if they want to stay close in this basketball game.
Masucci will come on now for Long Beach, and Edwards will take a seat. And you can see 8 points total, almost 7 minutes into the game.
People just tuning in, they're scratching their heads, not believing what they're saying here, but it has been a slow pace, and that's what Long Beach and Seth Greenberg wanted to try to do here. And as a result of this, now UNLV's gone into their amoeba defense, that matchup zone where they slide out, try to put pressure on the ball.
That is the thing that just amazes me about Las Vegas. We talked about this a little bit in the open, but they make you change your shot almost every time. Travel.
There's an example right there. They go to a different defense. An athletic player like Troy Joseph there, 24, who likes to drive and penetrate, coughs it up.
So again, a case of using about 35 seconds of the shot clock, but coming up empty.
Crowd trying to get this UNLV team into it.
Ogman got in the lane, missed the shot. Long rebound, fight for it. Sears got a hand on it. It'll be out of bounds to Las Vegas, off of Sears.
But once again, Barry, as you mentioned, only 1 shot opportunity for UNLV. They have not been able to get the offensive boards so far in the ballgame.
And of course, you talked about the fact that Long Beach, the 2nd leading rebound team in the conference. Unfortunately, the 1st leading rebound team in the conference is UNLV.
Little high-low game trying to get going with Anthony and Eccles.
Kick out for Ogman. They jump out on him pretty good. Long Beach playing some pretty good defense, too.
Very good. And they're fronting Johnson. That time they went over the top alley-oop, and they gained a great defensive play inside by Brian Russell.
Excellent job to front and back Larry Johnson, who's had trouble getting his hands on the ball. Now, the theory last time was you let Larry Johnson get his and you take everybody else out of the game. Well, he got his, but so did everybody else.
And they got it from the outside. That was the thing. When they get the inside-outside game going, they're so hard to stop because they allow you then to have to rethink how you're going to defend them. You can't just sag inside on Johnson. There's a 5-second call. It's a great defensive effort that time by Stacy Augman, one of the best defenders in the country.
So we have played 11 minutes and 42 seconds, and it seems like we've been on 6-2 for about 10 of those 11 minutes, doesn't it? We'll be back right after this.
The Highway Loss Data Institute determined that Volvo 240 wagons have the lowest severe injury claim rate. The Insurance Institute for Highway Safety determined that 700 series sedans have the lowest fatality rate. Those are some of the facts behind Volvo's reputation for safety. Facts Volvo owners can live with.
I believe I'm alive for 2 reasons. I was wearing my seatbelt and I was in a Volvo.
Test drive a Volvo at your nearby Volvo dealer.
Announcing something you've never seen before in an inexpensive Macintosh. Color.
In making an artistic statement, one's personal aroma shouldn't do the talking. So I use Right Guard Sport Stick with maximum protection. A true artiste should be known for inspiration, not perspiration. Right Guard Sport Stick. Anything less would be uncivilized.
Providence 72, St. John 64. Well, Mario, has been 5 minutes and 20 seconds since either team has scored.
I can't believe what we're seeing right now. And Tark's gone to the towel early tonight here. He's trying to figure it out himself. But as you said earlier, Barry, this team can do just about anything. And I think the key is that they have been able to learn to play a half-court offense if they have to. Good example of it here. They run specials if they can for Johnson and Augman.
Who's been the only man to score. Johnson got it back underneath and drew the foul. If he gets it back on a second attempt, it's either going in a hole or he's going to get a foul.
Exactly. Forget about it. When he's in that low at that position, he's going right straight back up. And the key with him is that he's able to get that position with that great strength that he has. Russell, who's a good athlete, just can't do anything except try to foul Johnson on that play.
So Larry Johnson will go to the free throw line. A very good free throw shooter. Ooh, I did it to him, didn't I? I'm telling you, am I the kiss of death?
Some people have commented on the way he shoots the free throw and that he has a little hitch when he gets to the very top of it. And yet he says, hey, I like that. It doesn't disrupt me at all. See a little pause right there? Perfect.
1 out of 2, and it's a 7-2 game, and it's been a long, dry spell.
You got to love the strategy of Long Beach State, though, and Seth Greenberg. And he told us, Barry, he said, hey, what else can we do? This is our only chance to be able to try to slow this game down and keep it close. The question is whether they're going to score a basket here. They've only gotten 2.
Well, we could be looking at all kinds of records here.
Patience trying to work the ball along the perimeter. And, of course, UNLV now in their zone in the amoeba. Great job.
Here's the turnover. 3-on-2. Vegas with the numbers. Ahead to Johnson. He couldn't handle it. Out of bounds to Long Beach. Nice effort defensively to get back.
That was good defensive transition. Bobby Sears did a great job that time, knocking it off Johnson as he kicked it out of bounds. Look at this. Bobby Sears is walking the ball up the floor, taking his time, and Harris taking his time as well.
Well, they're staying with it, I have to say. They are showing an awful lot of patience.
Well, you know, in a lot of ways, this is like what Princeton does. And Princeton played UNLV early in the year. They just try to use the clock as best they can.
Johnson stepped in front, knocked it out of bounds. They'll get a new clock. They get 45 more seconds to waste here. Substitutions coming on. Edwards back, Cutler back, and Kenny Jarvis on for the first time for Seth Greenberg.
One of the first games you'll see where you got 2 teams playing. They walk off the floor. They don't have any perspiration on them. Don't have to worry about cleaning the uniforms tonight if this keeps up. Actually, Seth Greenberg told us that this really is what Rick Pitino used to do when he was at Providence when he used to have to play Georgetown. They used to like to spread the floor, use the clock, and then take advantage of the three-point shot.
Yeah, he also said that he did this in his first year at Miami when he was an assistant at Miami, and they beat Georgia, which was nationally ranked, doing this exact same thing, and that was where this idea was born. And they get a shot down that time.
He'll take it. Bobby Sears banks that one in.
Think he meant to bank that?
No way. Johnson really working hard. Frankie Edwards, who plays well against UNLV, is really battling Johnson inside, trying to front him.
Edwards putting a body on Johnson. Johnson with a turnaround, and Edwards forced that shot to be missed, but Ackles gets it back, draws the foul, count the basket.
Basket is good by George Ackles.
There's the frustration after making a great play defending Johnson. They give up the other shot to Ackles inside. Here's Frankie Edwards, squares Johnson up, does a good job on the body. Cutler just can't bring the ball down as Johnson strips it away, and Ackles goes right up. Really a silly foul that time by Kevin Cutler, just pushing underneath. No reason for that one.
So Ackles at the line with 6 points early in this game, now 7. Edwards did a very nice job, though, on Johnson.
Yeah, they knew that Frankie Edwards had to have a tough game here tonight. He's that kind of guy. He's a tough kid, local product from Long Beach here at Millikan High School. Now UNLV's changing up a little bit, extending the defense, and they forced the turnover.
That was the trap, and Hunt ahead of the pack for the basket.
Just a matter of time before they extended that defense and put pressure on the ball out there for the trap.
And here's Anthony doing it again. Now watch the trap. Hunt got a hand on it, but Edwards chased it down.
Yeah, they're much more active right now, really denying the ball and doing what they like to do. That's play aggressive defense.
Lean in won't go. Battle for the rebound. It's got to be a foul called on Cutler.
You got Ogden and Anthony both trying to create the opportunity, and Anthony automatically knows where his players are on the floor. Great outlet pass to Anderson Hunt, one of the fastest guys in the country in getting down the floor on the fast break.
Well, they were amazing. As soon as somebody gets a hand on the ball defensively, somebody releases.
That's it. They release them automatic, and they know where they're at on the floor. Every player and every sub.
I think that's really the key, as a matter of fact, that you just spoke of right there, is they never miss an opening. When there's somebody open, they get the ball there.
This is odd.
Over and back.
Backcourt violation on Las Vegas. Well, awarded to Long Beach State.
And I'll tell you, that's as animated as you're going to see that man.
He's not pleased right now because they're really not taking advantage of the opportunities that they've had here as well.
Sears with a little penetration, now kicks it out. Harris thought about it.
That's tempting for Lucius Harris.
And he thought about what the coach would say if he shot it.
He plays well in the Big West tournament. Had a 30-point game last year in a big win over New Mexico State.
Edwards down low, nice move.
Basket by Frankie Edwards.
That's a great effort. 1 against 3 in there. Went up over the top of Johnson. I told you, Edwards is fearless.
Offensive foul called on Hunt.
Got to give Long Beach credit. They're playing aggressively on both ends right now.
Absolutely doing the right thing. 7:46 remaining first half. 12-6 Vegas. That's right, 12-6.
Taco Bell is 3 times better. 3 new menus are 3 times better. I tell you why. 3 low price and everything I like is just $59.79.99. Taco Supreme, not just Supreme. $59.79.99. Run for the bullet of the winner fixer. $59.79.99. Taco Bell is 3 times better. $59.79.99.
If you like the old Iron Horse, voted #1 by locals for the best breakfast specials as well as exceptional values for lunch and dinner, then you're going to love the all-new Iron Horse Cafe. Same great specials, a totally new restaurant, and an expanded menu that goes all the way to China. Featuring authentic Chinese cuisine served from lunch to late night. The 24-hour Iron Horse Cafe.
The Palace Station.
a catch. 379 in the corner.
Once again this season, if it happens in baseball, you'll see it on ESPN. Find out what Dick Vitale and Jim Valvano have to say about the sensational field of 64.
Rock and roll! It's party time now!
The NCAA Tournament Selection Special, Sunday on ESPN.
This telecast is an exclusive presentation of Creative Sports Marketing in association with ESPN. Any use, rebroadcast, or other transmission of this telecast without the written consent of Creative Sports Marketing and ESPN is prohibited.
Long Beach State ball out of bounds.
Jerry Tarkanian into his second towel here. We haven't even played the first half.
What a job he's done, keeping this team focused. I'm just amazed at the way UNLV remains focused every single game. They come, they take care of business. Despite all the adversity, he's kept them on target.
You can see UNLV not shooting it very well. They're over 50% as a team for the year. Shooting it at 40%, and that's due in large part to the defense that Long Beach is playing.
It's a real good point. They're playing very aggressively. But Long Beach, we're going to pull this off. It's going to have to start converting on some baskets. They can't shoot 27% and beat UNLV, even if it is a slow pace like it is.
Ooh, lost the handle, another turnover. That evens the turnovers at 5. And Augman waits for help. They have not given Anderson Hunt a three-point shot opportunity. In fact, I don't think they've shot a three-point shot.
That's right, they haven't.
Anthony, the penetration, double clutch ankles to follow, both miss.
And you could just see Long Beach tightening up. They just wanted to explode down the floor and run that break, and then, whoa, they pulled it back, realizing the way their game plan is set up to use the clock, spread the floor.
Long Beach actually has played a lot of people close.
Oh, if they ever. They've lost 8 games by a total of 17 points. And a lot of those games, Barry, as you know, were key games where they just did not make their free throws, and that made a big difference in their bracketing.
Harris open for 3, in and out. And that's a shot they need to make. He had a good look.
I'll tell you that Seth Greenberg is really working on that sideline right now. They're really into this basketball game.
Ackles has another. He's got 9.
That's something they've really worked on with Ackles a lot at their practices. They try to have him play with the back to the basket, learn to face up, and he's improved his game, as we've said, a great deal. The trap opportunity here. Good job by Long Beach as they pull it out. Try to use some more of the clock. Anderson Hunt, great defensive player, guarding Bobby Sears out here at the top.
As a matter of fact, there was a time a couple of years ago, Jerry Tarkanian told me that Anderson Hunt was the best player on his team, and that includes a guy named Augman.
And that tells you a lot, as the best defensive player in the country.
They left him that time, and he missed the shot.
You can tell that UNLV's a little out of sync right now. They have not seen this kind of a slowdown game. Princeton did it to them. The difference was they were playing at the Thomas & Mack in Las Vegas, the crowd behind them, and they were able to convert on some baskets.
Yeah, in fact, Jerry Tarkanian had a very funny line about Pete Carrill in that game. We went to shoot-around the day of the game, and Carrill came into the Thomas & Mack Center, and Tarkanian said, look at him, he even walks in the back door.
Tark's got a tremendous personality. He really, despite all the adversity, loves the game, loves this team. He's animated tonight, though, Barry, like you said. I mean, he's really concerned here.
Yeah, he's pretty tight. As you said, he's really made this team be focused on it, and it's a team with a mission. There's no question about it. They won't cop to that, but I really believe it is.
Without a doubt. Defending national champions, chance to do it again this year. Won 38 games in a row, and it's unbelievable what they've been able to accomplish so far this season.
And the other thing about Jerry, too, that he has said this at infinitum, that he really likes these kids a lot. And with good reason. They're pretty good kids.
Yeah, they really are. He means that. He really does. He's amazed at the loyalty that these players get. I mean, you look at what Stacey Augman and Larry Johnson did. When they could have gone into the NBA, they could have been millionaires today. And it was because of the loyalty they have to Coach Tarkanian that they decided to stay, try to make another run, and had now the opportunity to defend that championship.
And they threw that one away, too. And that's something, of course, when you're playing a slowdown game, you just cannot afford to squander possessions like that.
When you're a team that's not used to playing a slowdown game, like Seth Greenberg, who's always been an advocate of pushing the basketball.
6 turnover for the 49ers. Of course, Las Vegas has turned it over 5 times also. Larry Johnson put it on the floor, short with the shot, but drew the foul. He'll go to the line.
That's a good decision that time by UNLV to try to get Johnson isolated one-on-one at the top of the key. He'll spot up out there and look for that three-point opportunity. A little shake and bake move by Larry. He drives inside against Brian Russell. Tries to go up with the left hand.
Always tickles me every time you hear a criticism of Larry Johnson. I don't have any, to tell you the truth, and I don't think he has any.
Nor do I.
You know, but I've heard people say he can't put it on the floor. Well, you got a good example right there. I've heard people say he can't shoot facing up. I've seen him shoot facing up. I've seen him stick threes. I just think the guy's a complete player.
I really do. And people will debate you until you're blue in the face about who's the best player in college basketball, whether it's Larry Johnson or Shaquille O'Neal. 2 different type players, though. And you can't really look at it in terms of the NBA. They will determine based upon their particular needs. But I tell you, I like this guy.
We got a timeout on the floor with 3 minutes, 51 seconds remaining in the first half, and UNLV out to a 10-point lead, but it's 16-6. Pitcher's duel. We'll be back.
Call me irresponsible.
Just because the other guy is on the road doesn't mean his mind is. So the superb traction of the Subaru Legacy with 4-wheel drive and anti-lock brakes can be quite a comfort. Since the next guy is capable of almost anything, shouldn't the same be true of your next car?
Factory to dealer cash could mean great savings to you during the Subaru Spring Value Days.
Barry Tompkins, Mario Palladini back at Long Beach, where UNLV leads Long Beach State by 10. I don't think that's so much the story as to the fact that it's 16-6.
That's the shocker when you see just the few amount of points that both teams have scored. And then you start to wonder, well, if they keep this up, I mean, even if Long Beach loses, they may still lose by 20, but it'll be a low-scoring game, nowhere near that 103-point average that UNLV has.
A couple of guys who usually shoot it pretty good, not shooting it very good tonight.
Lucius Harris 0 for 5 from outside, and even Stacey Augmon is 0 for 3. This kind of a pace affects both of these teams. UNLV really is not used to seeing this, and Long Beach State, as we said, they're nowhere near this type of basketball team.
Masucci in the game now, transferred from Kansas.
They've been a little disappointed with his play this season. They thought he'd step it up. He's a good offensive player, but he's limited defensively.
Another one of those guys who plays better facing the basket. Harris tries it, misses it. He's 0 for 6. I think Harris is more out of rhythm than anybody on the floor right now.
Yeah, he really is. He's a guy who does benefit from a quick pace, like a lot of the UNLV players.
Well, a reminder that on Sunday, and it'll be right after our game, Chris Fowler with Dick Vitale, Jim Valvano, and I think Bill Cosby is going to be on that show as well. We'll take a look at an in-depth look at that at the NC2A Field of 64. That'll start at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific time. That'll be right after the final of the Big West Tournament here on ESPN.
I think there'll be a few opinions expressed on that one.
There might be. There's not enough room in that studio for all those opinions.
There's enough microphones in here.
Anthony got penetration, got to the basket.
Nice high-low look by Larry Johnson inside, and a great back cut by Anthony that time. lot of patience by Long Beach. The release man is right here, Russell at the top. You get trapped, this is the guy you go to.
Clear it out. Ackles cutting off.
About that is you make the big players have to come out. Look at Larry Johnson coming way out to guard Masucci. Ackles, as you mentioned, having to come way out. So you're making UNLV play defense and having to really work hard.
Almost another turnover. Russell on the floor. Nice play. Masucci misses to the left. The follow is no good, and the rebound to Ackles. They have 2 tries, and there's a foul on Russell.
We talked about at the top of the show that Long Beach does a great job going to the offensive glass, and a good example there. They've had a couple of opportunities where they've had 2 and 3 efforts inside, and yet they still cannot get the ball to go down. Russell on the floor saves it for Masucci. Might have shot a little bit too quickly that time, but here they go to the offensive glass. Russell can't get it to go.
And still, you can't question the idea. It's the execution. Getting toward. It's way under the team record. The fewest points allowed in a half for Las Vegas, 16. So Long Beach has to make a run.
A serious run with 1:59 to go.
They had to score 10 points.
Maybe we should tell Seth Greenberg that one. He doesn't really care about that one. That's a good stat, though, isn't it? UNLV gave up on that amoeba matchup defense. They came out, decided to play some man, hoping to force some turnovers. And yet Long Beach has done just a great job holding the basketball.
And still it is a 12-point game, and against Las Vegas, that's reasonable.
Particularly like you mentioned, in that last time they met here, the 16 zip at the very start.
It was like this before they got out of their sweats. Greg Anthony doing a little whooping to one of the officials, too. A reminder coming up at halftime. We'll take it back into the studio. Chris Fowler and Jim Valvano will have his viewpoints, and I'm sure he's going to have some interesting viewpoints on this game. Although it was interesting, I think when Jimmy's team won the NC2A, wasn't that game in the 50s, as I recall?
Oh, yeah, they did a great job spreading the floor. And they used to follow you. Jimmy V remembers this when they wanted to put you on the line. Remember a game where they beat Pepperdine here in the out west. Where Pepperdine thought they had the game won, and yet they put them on the line. They missed their free throws. That was the year North Carolina State went on and won.
There's some of the fans that have come down from UNLV. I'll tell you, there's a lot of red in this building between the UNLV fans and the Fresno State fans. A sea of red.
Yeah, they were those two great sets of fans. I mean, the UNLV fans follow this team everywhere. They drive across the desert. They'll follow them anywhere they can in the Fresno. The big red wave up there. What a big win for them tonight. Upsetting New Mexico State, 11th ranked in the country. They played a perfect basketball game to beat New Mexico State. They executed very well.
And made the free throws down the stretch, which really says something about their team. Great for Gary Colson, who I really believe will get that program going at Fresno State.
He already has, obviously. I mean, he's got a group of athletes right now. He just lacks some size inside. He gets some big players that he's hoping to get in there. They could be a tough team. Of course, he has turned programs around everywhere he's been, of course.
Yeah, he really has. He said he's got 4 people playing out of position this year. He said he's taking his 5 best guys and said, go out there and do the best you can. And they did.
Great perimeter shooters.
You know, we talked about the fact that Las Vegas giving up just 6 points so far in a half. That by 10 lowers their all-time record should it stay like this. With a minute and 24 seconds to play, the fewest points Long Beach State has scored in a half is 30. Turnover. So again, the Rebels just make you make mistakes.
They break you down defensively, whether it's in a fast-paced game or in this game, over a matter of time. They will force you to turn the ball over, and then they take advantage of it.
8 turnovers, and 8 turnovers is a lot when you're using the clock as much as the 49ers are. Nice block from behind that time by Joseph, but a foul is called.
Good look that time by UNLV where they flashed Stacey Ogman down low on the baseline. There he is, short corner, gets up in the air. That's a great effort by Joseph from behind, but Ogman, as he is, always around the basket, able to get the offensive board and go up strong.
So Stacey Ogman at the free throw line for 2 shots.
I think Stacey Ogman has really upped his opportunity into the NBA by staying and playing basketball this year. You know, people had said he'd be a first-round draft pick. Now the NBA scouts are saying he might be one of the first 3 or the first 5 pick, the way he's played, particularly that big game against Arkansas when he took that game over in the second half.
Yeah, and again, it's as you said, it's going to depend on whoever gets that #1 pick, what their specific needs are. The question, of course, on him was whether or not he could shoot the ball, and he has certainly proven that this year.
He really has. He's worked very hard at that, though. That's a part of his game that, as you said, people question. And he's even improved his three-point shooting from the outside.
Well, everybody said he's comparable to Rodman, but then the way he's been shooting the ball, now they're saying he's comparable to Rodman, except he shoots it a lot better than Rodman.
UNLV back in the zone right now. We get under close to the 45 seconds left in the half. Good ball movement by Long Beach, working the perimeter. The Cutler's wide open baseline down low on the right side.
And he's calling for the ball, but nobody's paying him any attention. Now they get it to him, but he's way in the corner.
Lucius Harris calling for the ball as well.
Joseph, jump stop, off the glass and in.
Basket by Troy Joseph.
And UNLV will play for 1 with 10 seconds left in the half.
Doing a little special here for Johnson down low if they can.
Ackles faces up, takes it, scores it! Ackles with 13 in the first half.
Three-point basket by George Ackles. Three-point basket.
Make it 12. It was a 3 at the buzzer, and you can't finish any better than that. Take another look at this.
Say, Ackles loves this style. He likes to play in this style. He comes out at the top, and they've been leaving him open here tonight. He takes that shot, knowing the shot clock is running down. Big bucket for George Ackles.
So we come to the end of the first half, 23-8. You can book it. The 49ers will get in double figures.
You got the right one, baby.
You got the right one, baby. You got the right one, baby. You got the right thing.
You got the right one.
Everybody. Oh, tired Pepsi, baby, you got the right one.
There's only one right one, baby. You got the right one, baby.
With 100% NutraSweet.
The Subaru Legacy is much larger than the older Subaru. But people still think we're small and boxy. The Subaru Legacy is luxurious. But people still think we're just basic transportation. With 93% registered in the last 10 years, still on the road, we hope our old image wears out a lot faster than our cars do.
Factory to dealer cash could mean great savings to you during the Subaru Spring Value Days.
More and more men all over America are discovering a new way to relax. They're called Hager Easies. And they're the kind of pants that feel great for doing just about everything, or nothing at all. Because Hager Easies are cotton. So no matter what you're doing, you can feel comfortable just being yourself. Hager, a feel for America.
ESPN's presentation of Championship Week is brought to you by Subaru. We build our reputation by building a better car. And by Hager Apparel.
Well, one of the strangest first halves you ever want to see. Long Beach State accomplishes one mission. They keep Vegas in the 20s. Problem is they have 8 points, the touchdown on the two-point conversion. Jim Valvano, you said this would be a test of whether or not Vegas would come out and be focused. They look kind of out of focus so far.
I think it was a safety. I'm not sure. We'll have to go back and check the films on that. But no question, I said it'd be a challenge. And is this the Vegas that we all know and love? The Vegas that comes after you with that pressure defense? Let's take a look. Look at them. First of all, look at their defensive stances. All right? They're like stickmen. They're straight up. You're supposed to be down in that tough Vegas stance. They're playing their half court. They call it an amoeba defense. It takes the shape of the offense. But right now, you don't have to be in great shape to play it. They really were not going after Long Beach State early. Look at this. They give the turnaround jumper, boom. I think at that point, Chris, it was a 12-6 game. It was really close, but then they poured it on. and Vegas got up by 15 points.
Oh, 25% of the points right there. I'll tell you what, they so much of the offense keyed from the defense, and as you said, that really hadn't happened in the first
second half. They're going to come after him, I guarantee it.
All right, earlier this evening in the Big West, New Mexico State, in fact, right before the game we're watching, took on Fresno State. We've seen it time and time again in this postseason tournament action. The hungrier team comes out on top. The Aggies ranked number 11, certainly on into the NCAA tournament. The Bulldogs not. Dave Barnett, though, had a monster game. Off the break, pulls up for the three. Barnett from the right. And the Aggies, used to playing the aggressive defense, don't come out and defend him. More of the same. Barnett, wide open, top of the key, buries the three. Another one from the right. Back to the top of the key. 8 3-pointers on the night for Barnett. And Fresno State, the number 7 seed, upseats the second-seeded Aggies, 88-82. Barnett, 28 points. And Fresno State now moves on to take on Pacific in the semifinals. Another first-round game, UCSB over Utah State, 80-76. Gary Gray, the big guy, had 19 points. Fullerton State loses to Pacific, 74-67. Don Lytle had 25 points, and Dell Demps had 23 points. Now to the WAC. Wyoming taking on Utah. The Cowboys, the host of the tournament.
ESPN's presentation of Championship Week is brought to you by Buick, the new symbol for quality in America.
Barry Tompkins and Mario Palladini back here at Long Beach. And Mario, let me put you in Seth Greenberg's shoes for just a minute. Do you do in the second half what you did in the first and hope to shoot it better, or do you just say, let's play and lose 46-16? What do you do?
No. You worked this hard to get it to this point. You're going to keep doing it the same way if you can. The key is they shot 24% in the first half, Long Beach, and you're not going to be able to win. You shoot 24% even at a slow pace like it is, so they've got to be able to try to convert on the inside.
Let's take a look at some of the numbers from the first half. They are basically unimpressive numbers, to tell you the truth. Field goal percentages, 24%, as you said, for Long Beach State. UNLV shooting it at 41. That's about 10% less than they've shot it all year long. Long Beach didn't even get to the free throw line. UNLV, as they have been, out rebounding their opponents, and the turnovers. Long Beach turned it over 8. You can't do that much. Can't turn it over that much if you're going to play a half-court game and a slow-down technique. Neither team shooting three-pointers at all, let alone making them. UNLV 1 of 2. They usually throw it up 10 or 12 times a half from three-point range. And Jerry Tarkanian, he's through the towels. He's down to his nails. Interesting to note, too, that only 2 players in the first half had more than 1 field goal.
That's a real good point. And I think it's amazing. You look at the big scores. Lucius Harris, 0 for 6. Stacey Ogman, 0 for 4. And Larry Johnson only had 1 shot in the first half. I mean, it's unheard of.
So it was an interesting first half.
Was it ever?
And again, there's no questioning Seth Greenberg's idea. It's only been the execution.
And again, starting off now, UNLV will start off in that matchup zone. They look a little more aggressive now than they were early on in the ball game. But against this matchup zone, Long Beach will just try to do the same thing they've been doing. They'll look for some back cuts, some screens down low.
And Lucius Harris just has not found his stroke. Joseph throws one up, missed it short. Anthony, the rebound.
Joseph's not going to hurt you from three-point country. That was not a good shot by Troy Joseph that time.
And Edwards doing a nice job down low on Johnson.
And he's really battled Johnson the whole first half, fronting him, causing trouble for Johnson down low. That's something you don't see a lot of. Now we're going to swing Johnson out to the top here and try to rotate him down through.
For Anthony. Anthony, the leaner, won't go, but he'll go to the line to foul on Sears.
UNLV just has so many options against whatever defense you throw up against. And in that case with Anthony, he can go one-on-one. As we said at the top of the show, Barry, a lot of people downplay the way he performs. And I think he's really the catalyst of this ball club in getting them going. They can ill afford to have Greg Anthony go down with an injury. And another point about UNLV, they have been injury-free this entire season. And that's a real big key.
That's true. Of course, all the posturing and all the positioning now with all the other teams in America is to try to stay out of the West so that you don't have to tangle with Vegas until it gets deep into the tournament. Although there is one school of thought that says get them early.
That's what Seth Greenberg's hoping for here tonight.
Yeah, that's right, real early.
He kept telling us as this season wore down. We can't finish 8th. We can't finish 8th because the 8th finisher in the Big West Conference gets the first seed, and that's UNLV. And sure enough, his team wound up that way.
Nice play by Joseph. Got the ball, took it to the hoop. How'd they call that? Foul on Johnson and count the basket. Great effort by Joseph. He got one of the Rebels behind him, took it right to the basket.
This is where he's really effective in the open floor because he's a driving, slashing type guy. Did a good job fighting off Augman. And here to seize the opening in the gap, goes all the way inside and is able to get Johnson still moving over a little bit and draw the foul and put the bucket in.
So Joseph with a chance to make it a three-point play. This is the first time Long Beach has been at the free throw line tonight.
And that kind of tells you the story of how they've been at the free throw line. That's right. They miss it. And they're not a good free throw shooting team. They only shoot 63%.
Yeah, that's not going to get it done. Ball knocked loose by Edwards from behind Johnson that time. That time Johnson actually had good position, and Edwards made the play from behind.
And good defensive help. The defense of Long Beach converging on Johnson. Good quick hands. That's the athletic ability that this Long Beach State has.
So Long Beach State now with a chance to chip away at this a little bit more.
UNLV's gone back into their man-to-man now. Trying to mix things up a little bit themselves here as well, hoping to be able to get a trapping opportunity to force Long Beach. It's not really a good ball-handling basketball team. Look at this. You got Kevin Cutler, your center, coming way out with Larry Johnson pulling him away far from the bucket.
Nice play to reach in front by Hunt, but Sears chases it down. Good look down low. Edwards couldn't handle it.
Little indecision here by the referees now.
And Augman said, make a call.
He doesn't like it. Tarkanian doesn't like it. He's pointing the other way right now over the bench.
Now Tom Harrington is going to go over and talk to the scoring table.
Got to see if they're going to reset the clock here, too, because it's down to 0 right now. Everybody's lost on this one.
Now Harrington will walk over and explain it to Tark.
He said goodbye. And they get 5 seconds. Hey, the buzzer went off.
All right. I think we got it sorted out here.
5 seconds on the clock.
So Long Beach gets the ball.
5 seconds on the shot clock.
So now they're going to have to get one up in a hurry here. They get it to Joseph, made the little move, and double dribble.
It wasn't that he really felt the defensive pressure. He just lost the handle on that. When you look at Seth Greenberg, think a little bit. This has been a really frustrating year for Greenberg. His first year as a head coach, one of the younger head coaches in the conference, only 34 years of age. As you said, Barry, great assistant when he was at Virginia. Was a part of that team of the Smurfs, went to the ACC final.
That was Stacey Augman's first basket of the game. He's got 4 points. It says something, though, about Las Vegas to be taken completely out of their rhythm. Here's Augman to steal. Look out.
Basket by Stacey Augman.
To finish that thought, they've been taken completely out of their rhythm, and they still lead by 19 points.
I see. No matter how you play them, you're going to run with them, you're going to slow it down. They can still beat you. They beat you through defense. Stacey Augman literally picked the pocket on that play.
I'll tell you, Seth is all over Harris. And another turnover, and Johnson is fouled. No foul. They say Sears got all ball, but then he knocked it out of bounds, and Johnson went right into that temporary fence that's there.
There aren't too many fences that are going to hold that man.
No,
I'll tell
you need a wall.
You got to love the intensity that he brings to this basketball team. When he first came to this team a year ago after transferring.
How's that? And they missed the jam.
Oh, my.
Great play by Ackles.
Finish that point. People thought, how would he blend in? How would he create? He began the we commentary. Everything was we, the team, and everybody else in the team developed the same attitude. I think he was really the cohesive part that led them to the championship.
He's just a quality guy in every respect. And one of those guys that he works as hard in practice as he does when it's time to really tee it up. Take a look at that last play off the inbounds pass.
Again, everybody knows where they are on the floor. A great touch pass inside. And Stacey Augman, who loves to jam, just can't get that one to go down.
Stacey's had a tough shooting night.
Yeah, they're going to be on him a lot, I'll tell you, tomorrow at the shoot-around for missing that one.
Got to hurry here. Just got it in. And a reach in on Hunt. Third foul on Anderson Hunt. Ooh. See if that sends Jerry to the bench.
Oh, actually, now they reversed it and put it on Stacey Ogden, so that's a break for UNLV.
That is a big break, so it'll still just be 2 on Hunt. Ogden gets his first. 15:57 remaining. It's Las Vegas by 19. We'll be back.
It's happening. Some people are climbing out of their imports and getting into the 1991 Buick Regal sedan. Why? One simple, overwhelming consideration. Quality. Buick quality. It's something you might want to get into yourself. Regal from Buick. The new symbol for quality in America and beyond.
You got your 30-foot woman, 35 pucks, 30-pound pizza, 30 dumb clucks. But if you want to travel, your numbers just come up. 'Cause Greyhound is less than 30 bucks.
Just a 3-day advance purchase, and you can go as far as 300 miles on Greyhound for less than 30 bucks.
So listen up, Gus, and don't miss the bus. Greyhound is less than 30 bucks. Handles the cool for your caddy, the juice for your jag. It's the jolt in your cold, and what wins you the drag.
Some motor oils can't take the heat, but with Kendall Motor Oil, the hotter it gets, the better it protects.
It's the push in your pickup, the zap in your Z, the revs in your turbo, and the heart of your little GT. Pour it in, pour it on, pour in the Kendall, and pour it on.
Out in the WAC, the top seed Utah still getting a scuffle from Wyoming, the host team of the tournament. Watch this play here. This is in the second half. Byron Wilson will come up with a ball for Utah before he goes flat on his back, throws the ball up and off the glass. We'll keep you posted all night long in this contest. Watch again. Before Wilson hits the ground, he flows it in. Utah up by 3, 7:15 to go. Back to Barry and Mario.
All right, thanks very much, Chris. And here a 19-point game, despite the idea that Long Beach State has, you got to say is not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea. The problem is you're still down by almost 20.
That's right. So what's the next idea? One of the real keys, too, is that Lucius Harris has been an absolute non-factor in this game.
He's their offensive man. He really gets them going. And as we said, he's had big games in the Big West Tournament before. He had 30 points against New Mexico State last year. And tonight, with this slowdown and that groin injury, definitely seems to be playing a physical part of a problem with him, as well as a mental part.
And he's just not in any kind of a rhythm. I think it's the mental part, maybe even more than the physical. There he was open on the baseline, but nobody saw him, and they back it out once again.
UNLV's back into the zone again.
UNLV much more aggressive in defending the ball in this half. Russell through the foul.
And again, Long Beach just cannot convert inside.
Foul number 4, Larry Johnson, second personal, 13.
Second foul on Larry Johnson. And Russell will go to the free throw line. Also interesting that Jerry Tarkanian told us before the game he was going to try to use as much of his bench as possible. Well, I'll tell you, he's used as little of his bench as possible. Only 1 minute off the bench in the first half. That is very uncharacteristic of the Rebels this year.
Yeah, he's only used Everett Gray, and the big guy on the screen there a minute ago was Spencer. He usually comes in early, replaces Ackles, but hey, how can you pull Ackles out? He had 13 first half points. You have all your points from the outside.
And also, it's not an up and down game. He was concerned about his front liners getting a little bit tired, but it's not that kind of game. Johnson, nice position.
By Larry Johnson.
You can kind of feel this game now just beginning to shift a little bit more so towards the offensive side for Long Beach, or for UNLV rather.
You know, the thing that strikes me too, and it's probably just an indication of how good UNLV is, but you sit here and say, well, it's not a bad idea. This isn't a bad game. It's a 19-point game. That's not a bad game. You know, it's all relative. When you're losing by 19 to Vegas, you're doing a hell of a job.
When it was 12-6, we were talking like Long Beach was winning the ball game.
That's right.
Long Beach is just content to continue to do more of the same, work the perimeter, Right, a flash, big guy inside. Masucci's going to try.
And he missed it. Anthony has the rebound.
We'll keep this up here. They're going to ask you to go out there and give it a try.
Well, one thing about playing a game like this, you get bragging rights. Seth Greenberg will be able to say, hey, we held Vegas to 40. And lost by 30.
Most teams are happy they can hold them to 40 and a half.
I got a friend years ago played in the NBA, by the name of Fred Hetzel, and he always talked about the day he had 41 points against Wilt Chamberlain. Chamberlain had 78.
I was waiting for that. Just claim to fame, huh? One of the unique things in this conference is that these teams and the players out here get a chance to play against the defending national champions twice during the regular season and then in postseason play as well. And one of these days when these guys are sitting back and they're older with their family and telling their kids, hey, we played against the defending national champions and possibly the two-time national champions. We played against them. I played against those guys. That's something that really, for bragging rights, that's something to really think about.
That's absolutely right. But the thing is, when Lucius Harris is telling his grandchildren he's going to say he had 40. Ackles fall away. Game's starting to get a little sloppy now. Johnson underneath, gets it back again. That's going to be goaltending. Give the basket to Larry Johnson.
It's starting to open up a little bit inside now, getting sloppy and aggressive, and Johnson's looking for the opportunity to get the ball down low. Just gets that inside position. And even if the shot doesn't go, he just continues to battle, going up strong with that big, wide body of his. Of course, he likes to finish it off with a little boot. A little headbutt there. That's his trademark.
Elmore Spencer coming in the game now for the first time.
I wonder if they're going to think about calling a delay of game on Johnson for doing that.
I wouldn't call anything against him. I want him on my team. So Spencer in the ballgame for the first time. Spencer, of course, a guy who was not able to play until mid-December. Nice give and go that time. Nice pass from Harris to Edwards, who drew the foul. Or not, that was from Winbush, I beg your pardon.
Long Beach did a great job that time on the back foot. When you play patient offense like this, you got to look for those screens, you got to look for those cuts, and this is something, as you said early tonight, Barry, that they have practiced all week, so they've gotten into a little bit of a routine of knowing how to look for those passes inside.
Ronnie Winbush in the game now for Seth Greenberg for the first time.
The key thing with Long Beach this year was the fact that they lost a great point guard to graduation in Tyrone Mitchell. He was the heart and soul of this basketball team. He really made them go. I mean, this was a team that won 20 games last year, and a lot of people thought should have gone to the NCAA, was denied on having to play the championship game of the Big West tournament against this same UNLV bunch right here. So what a difference a year has made. Here they are now as the 8th seed in the first game against UNLV. But again, if they've been able to get some solid point guard play inside early, they would have been a much better ball club. Bobby Sears has struggled early, has played better of late, but really is more of a two-guard.
Point guard position in college basketball is becoming increasingly important. Johnson missed the three.
You look at all the solid teams. They've got a solid point guard who can handle the ball well, distribute it well, and the key thing is a point guard be able to get the ball to their players in a position where they can score. Look at the great point guards in Provo. Johnson, both of Kevin and Magic, and John Stockton. They get the ball to their teammates where they can score, where they can create.
Nice pass that time from Masucci to the cutter Winbush. Well executed backdoor. Hunt, fall away. Ooh, missed everything.
Speaking of Hunt, we have not seen anything from him on the outside tonight. He's also been affected by this slowdown game.
Only one basket so far for Hunt. What's happening now, though, is that Long Beach State is playing more not to lose than to win.
That's tough to do. Look to win when you're down by they are against this defending national champions here.
They still continue to utilize the shot clock. Again, not a bad idea, but the execution in the first half was tough. Here's Chris Fowler.
Okay, fellas, we'll get back to you in a minute. Want to go out now to Laramie, though. That WAC semifinal game, Utah-Wyoming, a 2-point game. Here's Carl Arkey and Neil Hansey.
Welcome back to Laramie. Utah on top of Wyoming, 60-58. For those of you joining us on ESPN, Utah had that same advantage at the half, 40-38. They went up by as many as 9 early in the second half, but the Cowboys have come battling back. And with 4:52 to play, Utah has the ball and a 2-point lead.
And Wyoming's playing them very tough here on their home court.
Wilson looking inside to Walter Watts, who goes back outside to Tate, around to McKay McGrath. Watts double team.
Barry Tompkins with Mario Palladini. We are back at the Long Beach Arena. This quarterfinal game in the Big West tournament between Las Vegas and Long Beach State has really gone now into the corner of Las Vegas, and they are starting to be able to control the tempo with the game, Mario, pushing the ball up on the offensive end.
Yeah, they really are. And this man, Greg Anthony, who's the creator, the penetrator for him, is doing just that. He's trying to push it up the floor, and he's trying to create for himself. That's why he's in the line right now.
So while we were away, Las Vegas increased its lead by about 3, but even more than that, they've really started to grab this game by the throat, and they're starting to play more their type of basketball. They are just making Long Beach play their way.
They're taking advantage of the Long Beach, who's still struggling offensively. They're missing a lot of shot opportunities, even in close. And the minute they get that board, they're kicking it out and looking to run the break, get it up, and get back to playing the kind of basketball they're accustomed to playing up into the hundreds.
You know, we've been talking about Larry Johnson and how he hasn't really been a huge part of the offense tonight, but the thing that you really have to like about him is when he's not scoring particularly well, and that's only because they haven't been getting on the ball. He's got 10 rebounds. He just contributes in so many ways. But you know, that can be said for just about every member of the Las Vegas team. That's what makes them what they are this year.
Exactly. They know how to contribute as a team, as a cohesive group. If one guy's having a bad shooting night, they pick it up somewhere else. Usually defensive, or the front court guys do it with the rebound.
Elmore Spencer, of course, comes off the bench. He gets 3 blocks. So even though he doesn't score, he does his share. And as you mentioned, Greg Anthony is the guy who really has been the catalyst for this team, not only tonight, but all season long.
He's a great creator, great penetrator. He's a good businessman, too.
Yeah, that's right. He owns his own business. He's not on scholarship anymore.
You know, I think the way that he performed last season after suffering a broken jaw, the courage that he showed, once again, that was another unifying force of this basketball team. They really came together as a group. It really was the catalyst going on the stretch through the tournament.
I'll tell you what, he has really matured in the past year on the basketball floor. Always very mature young man off the court, but sometimes a little out of control on the floor. Not so this year. He has really taken control of his team, of himself. All the officials up and down the Big West are saying, boy, what a different guy this guy is this year.
It's amazing to me, the conversion he's been able to make from a 2-guard. He was at the University of Portland as the West Coast Conference Freshman of the Year, a solid 2-guard, transfers over to UNLV, makes the conversion. That's one of the most difficult conversions for a player to make, is to go from 2-guard to point guard, and he has become a great, great point guard.
We've been talking about point guards all night, and I think it's interesting about the 1-guard position nowadays. It used to be that really all you had to do was be able to control the offense, start the offense, and give the ball up to the shooter. But now it's not enough. You've got to be able to shoot the ball even as a 1-guard.
Exactly. You've got to shoot it from the outside and be able to create on the inside. You've got to be the main man out there at running the offense. You're the quarterback of the team, and Greg Anthony is one of the best in the country.
Edwards has been the main man tonight for Long Beach. He's got 10 points. He's been a factor. Played well against Larry Johnson on the defensive end, too.
He has good games. He had 13 points and 9 rebounds last time these teams matched up, so he likes it when UNLV comes to town.
Everett Gray gets it back. This guy's instant offense. Hunt for 3. Not quite falling for him tonight, and the miss on the return by Gray. And Russell runs down a rebound.
Yeah, you mentioned Everett Gray. What a contribution he's been. Jerry Tarkanian was concerned this season as to who would be able to pick this team up after the graduation of Moses Scurry, and Everett Gray's been a guy who's helped them emotionally and with his athletic ability, spelling Stacey Augmon inside.
And everybody worries about what's Las Vegas going to be like next year. Sure, they can't be on television, they can't go to the tournament, but I'll tell you what, they're still going to win their share.
Are they ever?
Meanwhile, there's UNLV by 21 here, and they are clearly in control of this one. Right now, let's take you back to the studio and Chris Fowler. Chris?
Thank you, fellas. Utah trying to hang on in that WAC semifinal game against Wyoming. It is 66-62. Wyoming on the line. 27 seconds to go. Let's go back to Laramie.
We'd like to welcome back our audience on ESPN. Carl Archie along with Neil Hansey here in Laramie, Wyoming. Rick Majerus, coach of the 8th-ranked team in the country, sending his troops back out on the floor. They've got a 4-point lead, 27 seconds to go. Benny Dees has seen his team miss its last 3 free throws.
And prior to that, they missed, their last 6 shots from the field. Cowboys struggling down the stretch, and the Utes able to hold on to a 4-point lead. Ruers is shooting the second of 2 free throws.
It has been more than 3 minutes since Wyoming last scored. Finally, Ruers breaks the drought.
And here comes the full court press from Wyoming.
Jimmy Soto to trigger underneath his own basket. Close to a 5-second count. He finally gets it into Josh Grant, who's double teamed.
Got to get it into forecourt in a hurry.
Soto finally fouled, and that's the last man Wyoming wants to foul. He is perhaps the best free throw shooter on this Utah ball club.
Alexander picks up the foul as he gets Soto, and Soto will go to the line. Good shooter. Walter Watts comes off the bench. He replaces Phil Dixon. Dixon, who was in there for ball handling and offense. Walter will now come in to play on the defensive end after the free throws by Soto.
Jimmy Soto out of Salt Lake City, 82% shooter at the line, had 5 points in the first half, and that's his first point here in the second.
This young man that Coach Rick Majerus likes to have in there in these kinds of situations at the end of the ball game.
Soto with 2 big pressure-packed free throws. Utah with a 5-point lead. 18 seconds to go, and Alexander from downtown. Grant with the rebound.
Comes out with it. Utah's got a man down the floor.
And Wilson up in the air gets fouled by Tim Bro. That should be Bro's 4th. And Wilson will be up at the line, but it looks like the 8th-ranked team in the country will indeed hang on and head to the finals tomorrow night against BYU.
Indeed it does. 68-63. The Wyoming Cowboys, though, a game team on their home floor with the Utes. The top seed should now advance to take on the number 2 seed, BYU. A replay of that great game last Saturday on ESPN when it was 72-71 Utah in overtime at Provo. Tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Eastern.
Magic Moments, presented by Dodge. When UCLA arrived in St. Louis for the 1973 Final Four, they were winners of 73 consecutive games and the 6-time defending national champs. So while it was not unusual to expect great things from the Bruins, no one was prepared for the individual performance of Bill Walton. In the title game against Memphis State, he had an astonishing 21 of 22 from the field. Those 44 points stand as a record in a championship full of magic moments.
Kristen Smith came home for the affordable fun of the new Dodge Shadow convertible. For John Janik, it was the affordable performance of his 2.5-liter Shadow ES Turbo. And for Amy Menifee, the standard driver's airbag in the economical new Shadow America. Shadow, the lowest-priced American car, with or without a top. Welcome home, America.
Now, get up to $1,500 cash back on select Dodge cars.
How do you get real premium beer taste in a non-alcoholic brew? You start with a real premium beer. That's how Anheuser-Busch makes O'Doul's. O'Doul's is carefully brewed using only imported natural hops. It's fully fermented and cold-aged. Then the alcohol is naturally removed, retaining all the great taste. So ask for an ice-cold O'Doul's. O'Doul's, the taste will win you over.
It is a final now in Laramie, and Utah hangs on 69-63 to finally move on and play BYU in the championship game. Now back to Long Beach, Barry Tompkins and Mario Palladini.
All right, thank you very much, Chris. Well, the story here since last we were with you is pretty much the same as it was. Still a 21-point spread. Still Las Vegas is going to win the game. Going to be their 39th straight. They're going to go into the next round of play here in the Big West Tournament. They're going to be the #1 seed in the West. Only difference in this game from the 38 other wins is their numbers usually have a 1 in front of them.
That's the truth. And you got to wonder now, their opponent tomorrow night, Santa Barbara, also a team that likes to slow it down. Not a good shooting perimeter team. They like to pack it inside. They got a big blue-collar guy in Gary Gray. And when they played UNLV twice this season, they tried to slow it up again. So I don't think it's going to be as slow as this. But it'll be slow if they can.
Now, Santa Barbara will take the easy basket if they can get it, which Long Beach, of course, they haven't had too many chances to get it, but they would if they had the opportunity. But actually, Santa Barbara played Las Vegas pretty well up at Santa Barbara. They lost by 17, and Jerry Pym felt that they actually played them pretty well.
Yeah, they really did. I thought their little point guard that night, Ray Kelly, did a great job shredding the defense of UNLV that night. Again, they wore them down in the second half and took advantage of some mistakes. What a great job that night by Paul Johnson, the great defender on Stacey Ogden.
Of course, I'm sure that Jerry Tarkanian is going to tell his running Rebels, remember the last loss, which of course was to UCSB.
That's it. Late in the year last year.
Problem is you have to have a long memory to remember the last loss.
And that's also with the Santa Barbara team last year. They had two great players, Garrick DeHart and Eric McCarthy, who was the conference's leading rebounder. They both graduated and gone on.
And they both played a big game that night, as I recall. In fact, that was a game that Vegas led most of the way, and UCSB had to play catch-up to win it, but they did. However, it was in February of last year. Tonight, 21 for UNLV.
What's that cool going down? What's that chill rushing through you? What's that that takes your breath away? What's the taste of real refreshment? That's the real of Diet Coke. Just for the taste of it, Diet Coke.
V8 Power drove Gary Gelwick's home to a Dodge Dakota 4x4. For Rich Gallo, it was 6,500 pounds of towing. And for Tom Curtis, 2,000 pounds of payload muscle. The midsize Dakota V8, Peterson's four-wheel 4x4 of the year. And with a new 4x4 Club Cab model, the best all-round pickup you can buy. Welcome home, America.
Now get total savings up to $4,370 on select Dodge trucks.
47-26 ball game. UNLV will make it 39 in a row. Larry Johnson is back in the ball game for Las Vegas, Mario, and I can't help but wonder if that's not with cause.
Without a doubt. He's had 67 straight games of double figures. He's got 9 points right now, and he'd like to keep those numbers up here at UNLV. He needs one more to get it.
Remember, we mentioned this earlier, the fewest points Long Beach has scored in a game ever is 30. So they need 4 in the next minute and 50 seconds.
Oh, Larry, you blew your chance there.
Masucci runs it down, takes the shot, and misses it. Might get another chance. Here comes Johnson leading the break. 3-on-2. Waldman in the middle. Give it up to Johnson, who missed the shot. I think it was Johnson. Might have been Love. Getting a little bit sloppy here. Harris missed it again. He's keeping his record perfect. He has not scored in this game.
That is unbelievable. Best offensive threat, the leading scorer for Long Beach, averages 20 points a game, and tonight it's just not been in the basketball game at all.
But I mean 0, zip, nothing, nada, nil. Bupkis.
Bupkis. Oh, you can see the frustration on him all night long. We've seen it. He's just had a battle trying to get himself open when he has run along the baseline, and other times he was up on the top when they ran this real slow-down offense. Didn't have the opportunity to put the ball up. All right, let's see if Larry can go a little one-on-one here and get his bucket. See, all big guys always dream of being a point guard.
He handles the ball pretty well, actually. Gray has it swatted away, but gets it back and puts it in.
Handles it well. How about that pass inside to Gray?
Not bad. Gray's first basket. Harris again. And there's the first one.
Basket by Lucius Harris. Three-point basket.
55 seconds left. 49-29. Score at least falls into the Who Da Funkin' category. Joseph misses. And a loose ball off of Johnson. So Johnson may not get it here.
Yeah, he's trying to be the point guard out there right now. They're going to try to let him get the ball inside where he's always tough.
This is going to be the fewest points ever allowed by a Las Vegas team by plenty. 42 is the fewest prior to this game. Long Beach with 29 with just 30 seconds left. Winbush. Johnson cleared. Let's see if Larry sticks the 3 here. Oh, he didn't.
Unselfish.
Try it this time. Short.
You got to go inside, Larry. This is the fastest pace we've seen in this ballgame tonight in the final 6 seconds of the game.
He is. H. Waldman will have the last shot, and they give it up to Johnson. Very unselfish by Waldman, and Johnson missed a shot at the buzzer. He had a chance. Streak of 67 in double figures comes to an end. And Jerry Tarkanian just says, what are you going to do? You did everything else right. You had 3 chances. You didn't get it done. I think it really says something about Las Vegas, though, that they got the job done, despite the fact that Seth Greenberg went into a game with an idea, just couldn't get the execution. And the reason that he couldn't was more because of Las Vegas.
Yeah, they really came out, as always, took care of business.
For us, then, that's a wrap. For Mario Palladini, I'm Barry Tompkins. Let's take you back to the studio now, and Chris Fowler. Chris?
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I think the shrug and the smile from Jerry Tarkanian at the end of the game kind of says it all. It was that kind of a ball game, allowing just 29 points. It breaks the all-time school record. 35 had been the fewest points that Vegas had allowed. They move on into the next round. Other Big West games, New Mexico State, though, the number 2 seed, upset by Fresno State, 88-82 in a quarterfinal game, as Dave Barnett had 28 points, including 8 3-pointers. UCSB is up next for Vegas. They beat Utah State 80-76, so the number 5 seed moves on, and Gary Gray hit 11 of 15 field goals for...
Come fly the airline that spans more than half the world. United. Come fly the friendly skies.